Hey everyone, this is Kim Ward. I'm a life and business coach helping women kick ass and find their fire again. And I can only do that because I've been in your shoes. And look at yourself and realize, am I really where I want to be? Are there things that I can tweak to get me to that ultimate goal or result that I'm looking for? And my guest today is somebody that I have been following and drooling over and watching and emulating since 2015. And she is a 20-year veteran here in our industry and a top industry leader. And I'm here with Diane Hochman. Hello, lady.
Hello. I'm sharing. Hey, everybody. Hello.
I am just so grateful. I mean, this lady, if you guys don't know who Diane Hochman is, DianeHochman.com will tell you all about her. But the cool thing is, one of the reasons that I've really considered you a mentor for quite so many years is because you are very real. You're completely real. You're so humble. And I mean, at this point, do you even know how many stages you've been on?
A lot. I don't know.
You know, there are pieces of our journey where we're like fangirling, we're swim fangirl. And then we're like, listen, you started out just like me, just like the person watching, just like the rest of us. And that's the conversation I want to have today. It's the person who knows that they're headed in the right direction, or they might know that they're just kind of stuck and they don't know how to get to where they want to go. And so when I reached out to you and I said, I've got it. The first thing that came to mind is discipline. Because many people in the network marketing arena, in the home business profession, I don't know if we lack the discipline, but I'm going to kind of lean on your expertise being 20 years, maybe over 20 years in the industry of what it takes to really get down to the nitty gritty and just go after what you want, damn it.
You know, Kim, I think we all have discipline. We all pay our electric bill. We all take care of our kids. Mine are grown now. But, you know, we think it's as much about discipline as it is about consistency. Because when we have a job, somebody else is causing us to be consistent. See, I don't think we were all disciplined in our jobs, you know, and if you still have one, you know, maybe you are, maybe you aren't, but more likely there's some rules or some level of expectation that we have to live up to. So we're consistent because we have to, because if we're not consistent, what happens when you have a job? Well, I mean, and it's not even about a job. What happens if you're not consistent with your kids? By the time they're 12, they turn into like psychos, you know, or you just don't do, you're stinky and they're all of those things. You know, what happens if you're not consistent in your household? Well, you have problems. You know, you have whether your house is falling apart or whether, you know, you got bugs or whatever it is. What happens if you're not consistent with brushing your teeth? You have problems, right? So I think it's really more about consistency than discipline. Because I think that when push comes to shove, when people wipe out in the home business industry, it's because they weren't consistent. So I don't know, but that's what I see with a lot of people. It's off and on and off and on and off and on. And I may not have been the fanciest or the smartest or the whatever else, but I showed up every day. Sometimes I hide, sometimes I have a hat on, sometimes I'm writing instead of speaking. I was consistent.
So it does. And I kind of want to argue that point a little bit. I'm like,
I like it.
Does it take discipline to be consistent?
Well, sure. Yeah, absolutely. But I guess when we hear the word discipline, we tend to think of it as, well, we have a connotation of discipline with parental discipline, maybe getting spanked or put in our room or in timeout. So there's a connotation to discipline. I'm a word person. Okay, words have energy, words have meaning, words have psychological charges. And so maybe that's why I'm not enjoying that word, because there's some type of self-punishment involved in that word. I haven't been disciplined enough. You know, you're a bad kid. You're not going to the school you want. You're not doing this. Where consistence more about habits and self-training. Our parents taught us to brush our teeth or to tie our shoes or all the things that we were taught, or somebody taught us, could have been grandma, whoever, but how they became habits. And once they became habits, we can't go to bed without brushing our teeth. We can't, there's certain things, everybody has different habits, but habits are ingrained in us. So to me, consistency in developing good business habits seems more than discipline.
Oh man, I love that. And I can see the people who are tuned in right now. And so I have a question for you who are watching, and don't lie, but hearing this from Diane, the consistency, do you feel that you are in full control and the most consistent that you can be right now? Yes or no? Just be honest. And so you touched on a couple of things that I want to kind of poke back at is the days that you showed up and maybe you weren't on video and you were writing, or you had the hoodie over your head and you're just kind of, I'm a big energy person too. And so showing up when you don't feel like it, do you feel that you can be as productive and as effective in your business when you kind of have that like energy, but you're showing up anyway?
Yes, because I'm all about leverage.
Okay.
And so what I teach people about, I'm creating content consistently. I'm a big email marketing person, or whether you want to do it on Facebook, however you want to do it, about creation. And you create a library of content and a library of letters and a library of things that you create when you're in those good spirits and you're creative, so that on the days when you're not, you're just slapping that stuff back up and recycling and reusing. It's true. I mean, 90% of the stuff you see me post, because you've only known me since 2015. Well, I've been doing it in 99, and I really got onto social in 2005. So 99% of what you see today is just recycled old stuff. I either re-say it, rewrite it, or just use it as it was on days when I didn't feel like it. I'm going to reveal something people know, people don't know. It's not a big deal, but I want you to really comprehend this. I went through a divorce, and during that time period, I just didn't want to come out. I just didn't want to be seen, but my habit was consistency. I had to do that basic minimum, or what I call zero level marketing. And that's when I said, thank God I created all this stuff that I could repurpose and rework and reuse, because there was literally a period of about 2 years that I barely came out. And people were like, oh no, you were always there. What are you talking about? And I was like, no, go look and see how many times you saw my actual face for 2 years.
Wow.
But I didn't roll up in a ball and say, forget it. I had a responsibility to people. I had teams and organizations and leadership roles, and I couldn't just go, forget it. I don't feel happy right now. So I showed up without showing up.
Are you guys hearing this?
Now, and I'm only telling people now because, one, it's long past now, and two, because we don't understand. It's consistency. You don't always have to feel like, oh my God, I want to teach and do a live today. You don't always have to feel like I want to write a blog post. You don't always have to feel excited, because when you go to work, you don't feel excited.
Amen.
Today, I was at the supermarket earlier today, and ironically, I happened to, not the same exact one, but the same chain. I worked in a supermarket when I first started my business, because I had left my full-time job and I just needed a little bit of money to keep us afloat while I was building the business. And I remember what it felt like coming into the store, and I watched an employee coming in, and they had that look like, oh, I have to go to work today. That doesn't change. I know everybody thinks you become a 7-figure earner and you sail around on yachts and, you have like a pool boy. We all have periods where we don't feel like it. The question is, are you consistent? And if you want to call that discipline, you can. But when I think of discipline, I think of my dad going, clean your room. And it doesn't feel good to me. I can be consistent in my business in an hour a day and keep it running at the level that it is. Now, there's other days I work a lot, not going to lie. But the average DMO, as we call it, the daily method of operations, a couple hours a day at this level with no employees, no staff, no nothing. I'm just a chick in a house with a laptop.
Oh my gosh. I'm just grinning from ear to ear over here, because, every time I listen to you, even though I've been following you since 2015, I learn something new all the time. And, our guests that are watching with us right now, they're honest. They're saying, no, I'm not as consistent as I could be. So thank you for your honesty. Teresa Fink says that she completely understands what you're saying about the word connotation. So I think how you frame it in your mind, which is such a great point to what you said, the discipline thing, it's like, okay. Question is, for the average network marketer who has a lot going on, and we're in a very interesting space in history where not many people are out at work and the kids are home and everybody's home and we're like clawing each other's faces off. But there are people who, they're working outside of the home, and the hours that they need to operate their business isn't exactly what they would like it to be. So I guess what I'm saying is they don't have a point where they're at creating their own library or creating their own stuff. What would you say?
Why not?
That's it. Okay. Why not?
So let's talk about this for a minute. It's really about figuring out what is the outcome that I need to accomplish, and then how can I fit it into the nooks and crannies of my day, versus thinking I need to sit down and work for 4 hours and I don't have 4 hours, and oh my God, and the kids need this and my husband needs that, and all this, these thought processes that we're having, because again, it comes back to a psychological drain, discipline. I'm not disciplined. I was tired. I ran the kids to ball practice and I cooked dinner. I did this and that. And then I was tired and I wasn't disciplined. I believe that people, when it's their time, they find the way. So I never, like, my team knows, I don't bug them. If you're working and you have people, let's go. I'll work with you. If you don't, my clients know. If you hire me and you don't feel like doing your work, there's nothing to talk about. I have no emotion about it. I don't think I felt. When somebody wants something, they drill it down to what do I need? And then they chunk it into how do I get that done? And most people haven't done that process.
Okay, so elaborate on that a little bit. As far as, you mean your vision and what you really want?
What has to happen. So, for example, in our households, and I'm just a real life person, that, you've seen me talk enough. In our households, if these things have to happen, the garbage has to go out, the dishes have to get done, the cat has to get fed, and whatever it is that has to happen in the household. Certain things have to happen in the household. That's not my vision. I don't go, I am imagine that they have fed. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's what has to happen today. How many people have to see my face and hear my name and see something that I created? Or how many people do I need to prospect if you're doing that kind of traditional process? How many people need to hear me today to get how many people to see a presentation, get how many people to say yes? And how am I going to get that done? Okay. The vision, I think all that stuff is great. I love it. It's wonderful. I don't do any of that. And everybody's always like, you don't do any of the things that people tell you to do. I don't have a vision board. I don't have this. I'm not saying you're wrong, guys. I did. But I just look at it like work. So if I own a mom and pop diner, what has to get done? The grill has to get cleaned, but this has to get done, that this has to get done. If we're really busy that day, we still have to clean. I don't just sit and go, we're so busy with so many customers, we'll just not clean tonight. You just won't mop. Nobody will notice. Right? It's true, right? If you owned another kind of business, you would never do that. And then you wouldn't go, we're not disciplined. You'd be like, this is because the health department shut us down. You wouldn't.
Are you guys getting value out of this? I hope that we're just stripping away everything and making it the most basic. What has to get done, right? And when I meet with people and I meet with clients and their DMO is like, I got to do this, and this, I'm like, whoa, why? Just because you're busy doesn't mean you're productive. What has to get done?
Right.
And I literally have 4 things I do every day. You say it takes you 60 minutes. You can run your business 60 minutes some days. Other days you choose to put in more time.
A lot more time. When I'm on a roll, when something's productive, when I'm flowing. There are days where I'll just sit at my computer and finally I'm like, okay, I'll get up. But on the average day, no. So what are your 4 things? Because I have 3. So I'm curious to see what yours are.
So my first thing is networking. That's a non-negotiable for me.
Got it.
The second thing is speaking, and that could be a Facebook Live, it could be a podcast, it could be something like we're doing right now.
Mhm.
The what is that? Number 2. The third thing, what did I have?
I'm sorry to put you on the spot because I know you know because they're your habits. You're so disciplined about it, and then you don't even think about talking about it.
Gosh, yeah. So then my Facebook stories, because that's my jam. I'm not on all these other social media platforms. I don't need to be doing TikTok and Instagram and Twitter. I'm here. No, it's not happening. I can't do it. I think my 5-year-old daughter twerks better than I do. I'm like, you don't want to do it. So Facebook stories, and a part of my networking, that is popping the question. That's meeting people, nourishing relationships. And that could be Facebook groups. It can be my friends list, but it's just networking. Then my speaking engagements, and then my follow-ups. That is making sure that I'm following up with people consistently. And many, many people that I talk to, they're like, oh, well, I'm not following up. Well, I'm not. And I'm like, why? You've taken
because it would make no sense, right? To me, it would make no sense. What would be the point of meeting someone if you don't forward the relationship? There would be no sense in that. Yeah.
No, and I think honestly, I'm speaking for a lot of people right now. I feel like they feel, and yes, I'm maybe speaking for you, they feel like they need to go out there and hit those numbers. They're hitting their numbers. So if I'm prospecting 60 people a week, you're really forgetting the fact that you are a human, that the person you're talking to is a human, and that you have got to cultivate and nourish that relationship. And yes, business is a numbers game. If I owned a McDonald's franchise, I'd want to be aware of my wait times and my metrics and all the fancy numbers, but that doesn't give us the right to stop treating people like people. And I think that fear of following up is like, well, I have to revisit that person. Well, of course you do. I want to have a relationship with you. I want you in my Rolodex. You know what I mean?
Yeah. And that's, I think it's a thought process. Networking is a thought process. And a lot of people are just looking for boom, 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 boom. And networking is about networking. It's connecting with people. One of my favorite things that I say is not everybody I meet is a prospect, but everybody I know knows a prospect. And so if I have relationship with them, they feel comfortable and safe to refer to me. They feel comfortable and safe to share my content. They feel comfortable and safe to say, hey, you have to meet her. And so it's that process of working through people, which is the same way we meet people in the real world. People are like, because I would say meet 10 people a day in the space, and the type of people that you want to meet. And they go, what does meet mean? And I go, well, what do you mean? What does meet mean? Meet people in life. What does meet mean? And they're like, well, does that mean that my daughter does this. Does that mean you send them a friend request? Does that mean you put them in your group? Does that mean you do this? I said, no, it means you meet them. And I just always find it interesting. We don't walk around the mall, not that we can go to the mall lately or anywhere, but we don't walk around and just walk up to strangers and go, hi, how are you? It's nice to meet you. That would be so strange. Like somebody came up to you like that in a store.
You'd be kind of that girl.
Well, you'd be kind of like, okay. Yeah, I mean, you'd probably be friendly back, but you'd be like, okay, what's wrong with this person?
Yep.
We meet people through people. We have to network every day, and we have to network with the outcome of, talk about outcomes. I want to meet as many people as humanly possible. I always say I want to meet every single person that has this, which would be impossible. But I'm just, every day I'm looking, who has a home business? Who can I help? Who can help me? Who needs what I have? Who has what I need? And I'm just very open. I'm looking to network. I'm also doing what you said speaking, or I call it creating a piece of content. I don't care if it's written, video, audio, but we want to create and promote something. So our face is out there. We're visible, and promoting it to get it in front of as many people. Because I watch people, they make something and they put it in one place and they go, nobody's listening. It doesn't work. Network marketing is a warm market business. And that's why I put in that disclaimer in case anybody's like, oh, she's talking about network marketing. It's a warm market business, guys. So is a lot of online stuff that people do. It's a warm market business. And my definition of warm market is people that know you or people that feel like they know you. And social media has given us the opportunity to create warm markets.
No, you're right. And I'm just kind of like oozing out of my pores right now when you said we all kind of step into that. When we're in this space, it becomes clunky and inauthentic and just almost yucky because we forget how to just be ourselves and just have a conversation. And that's why I learned zero level marketing from you. And once I stopped trying to be that robotic billboard, trying to 52 things on my DMO every single day and pull my hair out and try to pizzazz the world with like, this is how busy I am. This is how important I am. Bitch, you are not busy. All right. You're making yourself busy. Cut the shit. That was me. And I was like, what's really important to me? What do I really want? And that's how I was able to do exactly what you said and chisel down on these 4 things every single day. It's a non-negotiable. I want to network. I want to get to know you. I want to do X, Y, Z authentically and consistently. And that's how you meet people. That's how you break it down. And if you have the days where you're like, yes, I can do more today, do it. And put it in your toolbox and create that library that Diane's talking about. And I'm huge on repurposing content. And that's, I think, a big thing, that you were trying to say earlier. Go ahead.
I was going to say, yeah, that's it. It's really it. Because when you create content, you can repurpose it, break it down, re-edit it, pull quotes out of it. There's so many things you can do. And if you have a Saturday and you're free, you can go for it, do a bunch that day. But then the other days you have all these pieces that you can pull, which is what I'm doing today, pulling old stuff.
And you're actually creating new stuff right now, by the way.
Yes. And here we are. So
the other piece I wanted to talk to you about, I think we covered pretty well, but if there's anything additional that we need to kind of zone in on is really the emotion. Because one thing that I hear from a lot of people is that they're not feeling it. They want to do it, but they're kind of lower dimensional feeling, their energy's off, so they didn't show up today. And what happens when they're in that space? The overwhelm is there, the frustration is there. And as humans, I believe we tend to do this and just retreat and do nothing because we have that all or none mentality. So when it comes to emotions and business, what's your take on that?
I was very fortunate. I didn't think so at the time, but when I started, I was really broke. I didn't have the luxury of not working. I didn't have the luxury of any of the things. I didn't have the luxury of trying to buy my way to success, which a lot of people do. I didn't have the luxury of not showing up. Much money this week, or you have to go back out and suit back up and go back and find a job and put the kids in daycare. And in my mind, the daycare was so expensive of what I could make. So there had to be, I had to show up. And when we get to the point where we really think about, what do I want? And do I want it enough that I don't think that this is, my business isn't a luxury, it's how I live. And a lot of people, it's just not. And there's nothing wrong with that. And I think if you got to be somewhere, this is a great place to be as a hobby type of thing, or, there's personal development and incredible people. But when push comes to shove, you have to decide, I want something. And then what starts to happen is I've done a million different marketing methods that I didn't like. In fact, I hated them. And that's how I ended up becoming so involved in the attraction marketing movement many, many years ago, because I found that if I could bring the people to me, I was much happier than if I was trying to go after them. That's how it came to fruition. The only way I got to the place where I figured that out was by doing what I had to do. And I think coaching and environment and who we're surrounding ourselves with is really important, mentorship. But in the end, and I just say it like it is, in the end, and I've had mentors and I've had incredible environments, and I have had people that have taken me under their wing and just saw my drive and taught me. And I'm so thankful. But it always comes down to, what do you want? Here's something that people don't realize. Sometimes you're hanging around and you're taking in all this information. It seems like nothing's happening. But when the minute comes that it's time, you already have all of that in you. And then it just comes out.
I love that. That's the biggest thing I work with. Authenticity. Cut the shit and just be authentic. That's what we need more of. We need more of you. We're all, you can reach an audience and people that I can't, vice versa. We have so many gifts and talents, God-given gifts, talents, you name it. And we're so like, oh, I've got to be perfect and shine, and my hair's done and my makeup's done, and I've got to act like this, and I've got to represent this. And the times of me that you were talking about, that I was just kind of this, things looked great on my social media. I was out secretly driving for Uber, feeling like the biggest piece of shit. And I was like, why am I lying? Why am I trying to make myself look good? Like, when I opened up and exposed myself and said, this is what I've had to do, that's when people want to lock arms and say, holy crap.
Because people respect you then. Exactly. There was no social media when I was mopping floors and cleaning toilets at night after my kids went to bed. It didn't exist. And I tell about it now, but people don't get it. People don't get that I would go in, you know, fully educated woman, all this other stuff, supposed to have all of these things that my parents worked so hard for us to, you know, have. And I'm out cleaning toilets at night. And you know what? I did it with a smile, because I wasn't doing it because it's what I had to do to live. I was doing it because it's what I had to do to keep the dream alive.
I just had this conversation with somebody today. I got a text message from a friend, and this person said, I'm the lowest I've ever been in my life, and I had a pay cut at work, and I'm driving for DoorDash at night, and life sucks. And I said, no, it doesn't, man. You have to be so freaking grateful that we have technology, grateful that you have this opportunity to supplement your income, and realize this is just a piece of your story of where you need to get completely shifted as perspective.
And what happens to people like us, we get to this point where every time something bad happens, I'm like, that's so awesome.
Yes.
Everyone's like, what is wrong with you? And I'm like, oh my God, something's coming. And they're like, there's seriously something wrong with you. And if 3 bad things come in a row, I just get really excited. Am I brainwashed? I don't know, maybe.
I just love you. You know, I've followed your story for so long, and it's like, I'm so glad I finally got my head out of my ass. And that's why I wanted to just have this conversation, because there are so many amazing and skilled and talented people that are just kind of hiding behind what they think they should do, what their emotions are dictating, who they're trying to be. Diane just broke it down for you. Be your damn self, do what needs to get done, and be consistent. Just go do it and love the journey.
I have one more. And if it's not your time, be okay with that.
Oh.
What I watch people do, and that's probably why I don't like that discipline word, I watch people just beat the crap out of themselves. You know, if it's not your time, hang out, have fun, go do something else. But don't sit around and put yourself down. The rest of the world will do that for you. Believe me, I got plenty of people that don't like me. I send me nasty notes and stuff. You know, it's part of the game. You know, people that disagree right now, it's like disagree city. All of social media is. I mean, you could say the sky is blue. No, it's not. It's a conspiracy. It's really not blue.
Yep.
And I'm not in there today, but love yourself. You know, don't beat yourself up. Do what you got to do to get yourself motivated. What do you got to watch? Where do you got to be? Who do you got to be around to get yourself to the point where there's no going back? I'll say something that sounds arrogant, and it's really not. It comes from the bottom of my heart. You get to a point where you've been doing it long enough where you literally can't not make money. Does that make sense? You can't not make money because your standards are a certain way. Everything about the way you're thinking is designed for money to move towards you. And working on that is one of the greatest things you could do. I mean, I did crazy stuff like go practice shopping in stores I could have never afforded. You know, test driving cars. I could never, because I was trying to train myself not to buy stuff. I was trying to train myself to not feel less in those environments. Go to a fancy hotel and just go have a glass of wine, $18 glass of wine, but whatever. So for $20, you could go in the experience that was intimidating.
So how come, you know, people will look at somebody like, oh my gosh, Diane Hochman, you know, and I'm not anywhere in my journey as close to where you've been, but I'm headed there. And I've been so much further than I ever thought I would be. And people look and say, but I'm not Kim Ward. But it's okay for us
to be supposed to be.
You need to be authentic. You need to be your damn self and love that person and embrace the journey And I'm so glad you said if it's not your time, it's not your time, because I've been following you since 2015. I learned about zero level marketing. I've seen you, doing Facebook Lives from the back of cruise ships that you've earned. And it's like, I can't do the things that she does. I can't do the things that she tells me to do because I'm just not damn ready.
And you just hit it on the head. It's like like I just said, well, look, the kids are at practice. You could do 3 Facebook stories, and you could create graphics on a program on your phone while you're sitting and waiting for 15 minutes. And people will tell me, well, I can't do that. And it's not that you can't, it's just that you can't see it. It doesn't make you wrong, doesn't make you bad. It's just, I can't not do certain things because it's all I see. It's really about the mind, which I've been teaching since the beginning. It's about your mind, because I could sit here and literally take a client and have them come live with me for a week and show them exactly what I do. And they would tell me, that's not what you really do. I've had people time. I show them exactly what I do. That's not what you really do. Okay, well then, what is it that I do? And they're like, well, there's more. There has to be more. The more is inside of me. The more is the energy. The technique is dime a dozen.
You posted something, I think it was today on Instagram or within the last day or two, but it basically said, to the extent of slow down to speed up.
Yep.
And I think I love that. We're in such a rush. We want overnight success. We want to make that money. We want to prove to our spouse. We want to be that 6-figure earner. What damn good is it if you cannot slow down, embrace the evolution that comes naturally, and enjoy your journey? And that's what people mean when they say embrace the journey, because this is a journey.
When you said that you went from, kind of tootling around to really cranking it up, would you say 5 months, 6 months? How long did it take you to get there?
About 4 months. Yeah, 5 months.
4 months. So you were going slow, and then all of a sudden you went fast. What was the difference, right? The difference was that moment. Learning, networking, people go, it's too slow. What you do is people say to me all the time, I think like 10 grand, right? And I'm not making a complaint. I've done it many times. Another time I'll send an email, sells nothing. And people will like, what you do is too slow. Building an email list is too slow. All this networking is too slow. I'm like, okay, do you want to watch me make 20 grand now? I'll write another letter. And they're like, it's too slow. Okay. To take 90 days to 6 months to build that list, to take 90 days to 6 months and build that network, you can call it slow if you want. I call it the build. And then once you've done the build, now you have leverage. And leverage lets you lift things that you couldn't lift before.
I just love you. I've kept you so much longer than I promised, but I could literally talk to you all day, and I'm seeing the comments and the shares and the likes, and everyone's like, there's so much value here. And I can't thank you enough. So if someone's watching and they're like, I don't know what Diane does. I don't know what Diane can offer. Can I work with her? Can I lock arms with her? Where can they find you?
Well, I'm at dianehockman.com is my email list, and my blog's over there that I never write on. So I'm at the link right because I'm not disciplined.
She's a rebel.
My social media, it's everything / Diane Hockman. So Facebook, Instagram, wherever. I'm around, guys, and I look forward to meeting any of you. Kim is amazing. And I love watching. I'm disappointed that she moved south because she wasn't that far from me, and she's amazing. And she's a testament to what's possible when you align. And sometimes it takes a little while to align, and that's okay. That's why I'm trying to say, don't give yourself, just keep looking for that moment or that thing that makes you go, I'm going to get it. Everybody's breastring is different, and that's what's important for all of us to love. And she had the desire to build it, and then her honey had enough, and it was love. For other people, they lose their job. Everybody is different. Somebody wants a car or a motorcycle or whatever. I was never a thing person personally. I was more, I didn't want to get out of bed in the morning person. But keep working on that. And I'm not talking about in a goofy way. I'm talking about dead serious. You know inside of your heart what it is you think you want. Fan that flame until it lights. Because and if you've ever built a fire, it's like nothing, poof. That's the key. And try different environments and different things and learn different things and open your circle up. I do go to, back back when I used to go to events, Kim, back when I left my home, I go to a lot of internet marketing events aside from network marketing events and so on. Somebody's like, well, I can't go to events. Well, there's other ways to network with people, guys. Stop putting that roadblock. But I mix and mingle with all different crowds on purpose because I don't want to get tunnel vision. I don't want to be like over here and I can only see this and only this. The people will tell me I can't meet anybody on Facebook. You can't meet anybody on Facebook? There's like a gazillion, and that's a real number, people on Facebook. What do you mean you can't meet any people? Well, I know everybody and they're all already in my company. Well, that's like saying I can't meet anybody outside of my town. Well, just drive over the darn border, open up.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Well, this was insanely valuable. Thank you so much. DianeHockman.com. Get on this list. Awesome. All right. Thank you so much. We'll catch you guys on the next episode and give Diane so much love. Bye now.